Hey, Roland, what's happening, fellas? Hopefully your day is off to a wonderful start. So we're going to do two things on this video. One, at first, we're going to run through our first thoughts on the NFL progressive jackpots for week 3 on overlay. I didn't check in with you. How'd you do last week? I did terrible in the 12 picks, but 5-0, tied for first place in the 5-pick shootout. Unfortunately, a lot of people tied for first place, so I had to split that jackpot.
I played in the $22 twice, and I did not cash either. I was 6-6 in both of them, and it happens.
You know, that's one of the things I like about the matchup shop in the 5-pick shootouts is it's hard to cash when you got 12 picks because you take the ones you like, but then you have to pick some that you don't like. I know that's something you've hit on over and over again. Sometimes you're stuck picking ones that you just have no confidence in.
Amen.
So I personally like these 5-pick shootouts. I will gut it up and play in the 44 next week because I've cashed both times so far, which means I'm guaranteed not to cash this weekend.
That's fair.
All right, the $22 jackpot is up to $11,740 right now, and let's run through our initial thoughts.
The one thing I'll say about that is that's how you think it's going to work out, just like how I think David is going to put up 25 DK points now.
Fair enough. You probably don't catch that unless you're a customer. We fought like an old married couple on the members-only video for baseball today. So let's start at the top. We got Dak taking on Seattle, Cam Newton against Vegas. For me, this is a true pick'em. I want no part of it. I would probably go Dak gun to head, but I literally do not want to pick this one because I think both guys are really good plays.
I'm happy it's just the first look video because I feel the same. Gun to head, I take. I'm not sure. Gun to head, I take Cam, but I'm reserving the right to change that.
Yeah, combined for 5 rushing touchdowns last week between those two. You will not see that happen almost ever again until we get to the next one. We got 2 guys who regularly run for rushing touchdowns again too here. So Josh Allen off to a great start of the season. So is Kyler Murray. This one is not easy because I don't like to pick against Josh Allen, but I do prefer Kyler Murray. I respect the Rams defense significantly more than I respect Detroit's defense.
I agree. I'm with you, and that's all it is.
All right, next up, Deshaun Watson against Pittsburgh, Matt Ryan against Chicago. I slightly prefer Watson overall as a fantasy quarterback, but I don't like anybody against Pittsburgh. He's no Jeff Driscoll, we'll put it that way. Give me Matt Ryan. Chicago's defense is good, but I really respect Pittsburgh's defense.
This is a good one. Give me Deshaun Watson, but man, that's a good one.
Got it. If I were to label these guys right here, Matt Ryan's a safer play in my opinion, but Watson always owns more upside because of the legs.
Exactly. That's all it is for me. And Driscoll did play well last week. Watson could have a good game here, even though Pittsburgh's D is very good.
All right, Big Ben versus Matt Stafford. Give me Big Ben. At home, I don't really have a ton of respect for the Houston defense.
I don't either. I just think that this Arizona game has more points, so we're going to disagree again. I'm going to go Stafford.
Yeah, so far, these are close, which is kind of exciting. All right, speaking of which, Stafford against Tom Brady. Godwin already listed it being back this week. Oof. Oh, boy. Oh, man, this is a tough one. Give me Tom Brady.
I like Stafford here more, but I like Stafford over Big Ben. Man. Stafford's my favorite of the 3, I think, but I don't love any of them.
Yeah, I'm with you. None of these are like jumping out as must picks as of the day. All right, Joe Burrow against Philadelphia, Philip Rivers against the Jets. I'm going to pick Burrow because of the purely on volume. I do think that they are going to give the ball to Jonathan Taylor quite a bit in this situation, going up against a terrible New York Jets team. And I just think Burrow is going to be more needed. I know you expect Philly to play one of their better games of the year, which wouldn't take much, which puts Burrow in a spot where the volume is going to be more necessary. Give me Joe Burrow, plus he throws on the legs.
I'm with you in that. All those points, man. I agree.
All right. It's another tough one coming up. So far, we are not getting any easy ones. So they're making us sweat these out. Tannehill against a pathetic Minnesota team. Justin Herbert, who was very impressive. Now, if Tyrod is starting, this one will be off the board. but I see no reason they don't give the job right over to Justin Herbert permanently. Tannehill against Minnesota. Minnesota cannot stop the pass, but everybody's just like doing whatever they can to stop Derrick Henry. So I'm going to go Tannehill right here by a slim margin.
I'm going to go Herbert, obviously assuming he's the starter. I really was impressed with him. I think that Carolina's defense is not one I'm scared of. I'm going to go Herbert here.
Nor should you be. I'm more worried about they run the ball in because everybody's able to rush for touchdowns against Carolina, whereas as the whole world sells out to stop Derrick Henry, and I've not been impressed with Tennessee's offensive line creating holes, but they have been able to throw the ball, and Tannehill is really operating well off of that play action. I think he gets A.J. Brown back this week, so it's a tough call, though, because I have no problem picking on Carolina's defense.
Yep.
All right. Wentz against Cincinnati, Baker Mayfield against Washington. Give me Wentz.
Wentz all day. It's my favorite one.
So far. I got you.
So far.
Trubisky versus Garoppolo. I mean, I think we are both leaning towards Garoppolo not playing. So I'm going to go Trubisky. And then if he's off the board, then clearly it's Trubisky.
Yeah, I hope Garoppolo plays so I can pick Trubisky. Trubisky was facing Drew Lock last week in the 22. 21 people picked Trubisky. 0 people picked Drew Lock. And Trubisky was obviously the way to go, and I feel similarly about this one. Not quite as good, but similarly.
All right, so Goff against Daniel Jones. I'm going to give you a sneak preview of this week's public video. Daniel Jones.
Yeah, amen.
All right, Kirk Cousins versus Derek Carr. I'd pick Kirk Cousins over kissing your cousin right now. Or I'd pick kissing your cousin over Kirk Cousins right now. He's awful. Not a great spot for Derek Carr, but I was very impressed by him Monday night. I'm sure Belichick will do a great job taking Waller out of the game, but he's got enough other weapons right now that they're going to make him throw it. And give me Derek Carr.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kirk Cousins has been so uninspiring. Man, I hate to take a quarterback in New England, so I don't feel as comfortable as you do, but I'll agree with you on Carr.
I'm going to disagree with you on one aspect, though. You called Kirk Cousins uninspiring. I think he's really inspiring. Inspiring to get a new quarterback.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
God, what a pathetic performance by him last week. We've seen those from Cousins in the past, but that was just awful. That was pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Jeff Driscoll against Tampa. Haskins against Cleveland. Driscoll, I guess.
No, on either of them, but Driscoll, sure.
Driscoll, sure. Okay, yeah, it's not what I'm looking forward to picking on this one at all either.
At least Driscoll showed that, that he was fantasy relevant, in Pittsburgh last week. So I'll take that, if nothing else.
Exactly. All right, Zeke versus Hopkins. Give me Zeke. They're not going to run them all in with Dak.
Yeah, I'll take Zeke also. It's tough to go against Hopkins with anyone, but give me Zeke.
Okay. Derrick Henry versus Dalvin Cook. Battle of the round one disappointment so far. Here's my call on this one. I'm going to go Derrick Henry. He's going to hit a long screen pass for a touchdown this week as they find a way to get him the ball in space.
Yeah, I'm going to go Henry also. I got a good feeling about him. So I'll take him over Cook, although I could see both having good weeks because they're both really good. I love the next one.
Thielen against Diggs, old teammates matched up with one another. Diggs has been really good this year. It's hard to bet on Thielen with how bad Cousins has been. But Diggs is going to get that Jalen Ramsey treatment. What are you thinking here?
Diggs will get the Jalen Ramsey treatment, so I like Thielen a bit more here. But that whole Minnesota offense is uninspiring. At least they've looked uninspiring. Doesn't mean they can't play well here.
I could see Minnesota with a slight bounce back week here and play better. So even though I was really hard on Cousins, Thielen is still his one and only target at this point. I'm going to go Thielen. Still not excited about though. I'm a big Diggs fan now that he's not on Minnesota anymore and he's on all my fantasy teams and he's been really good. But it's going to be a harder path this week for him.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
All right, Nick Chubb. Chubb still on my good side from last Thursday night in the captain spot. He was awesome, running really hard. Harder spot for him this week though against Washington, and Eckler is in a crush spot. So give me Eckler.
Yeah, give me Eckler too. I'm a big fan of both of these guys, but if Herbert's in, give me Eckler. If not, give me Chubb.
For sure. I'm just assuming Herbert's in. If they go back to Tyrod Taylor this week, that is a moronic coaching move.
I'm with you.
Look, we know who Tyrod Taylor is. He's a guy who probably shouldn't be the starter somewhere. You get this kid, you draft him, he looks good in week 1 against the Chiefs. Well, his week 1. Give him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Evans against Chris Godwin. Sounds like Godwin's already been cleared to play. I'm going to check back on this. I'm going to have to do some research on the cornerbacks left in Denver to decide where I want to pick. Right now, this is a true pick 'em for me, as it will be most weeks.
Yeah. It's definitely a true pick 'em. I have a Godwin feeling this week, but that's based on nothing.
Yeah, okay. We'll get back to this one on the Final Thoughts video over the weekend. James Conner against Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm leaning Juju no matter what. I think he's got a big game coming. If Deontay Johnson, who's listed as questionable, is out, then this one's an easy one for me, and I'd definitely go Juju.
Yeah, I think I go Juju no matter what.
Okay. It's kind of like when we talked about, I think, David Johnson last week. Like, I'll probably go Juju no matter what, but my conviction on it skyrockets if Deontay Johnson doesn't play.
I get that.
All right, Chris Carson versus Amari Cooper. Games in Seattle, give me Chris Carson. Game is in Dallas, I go Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got Carson here too.
I mean, Seattle's going to score at least 4 touchdowns in this game, so I have to assume Carson gets at least 1.
Mm-hmm.
All right, DK Metcalf versus Tyler Lockett. I feel like I have to pick DK Metcalf because I don't want to say anything negative of him on camera. I'm sure he's not watching, but I don't want to slight him where he could hear because I just don't want him coming to my house.
You don't want to say it out loud.
Yeah, no kidding.
I won't pick it.
Yeah, I don't want to pick this one either because I like them both, but I will go Metcalf if forced to choose.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Cooper Kupp showed flashes in the first quarter last game versus Odell Beckham, who I believe scored his touchdown in the first quarter, if I remember correctly as well. So a couple of guys with big first quarters last week. Who do you got here?
Odell did not catch a ball in the second half last week. That's pretty discouraging. But Kupp does not – I don't know. He hasn't looked great to me. I'm going to go OBJ here in a game I think has more points.
So one of the problems with Cleveland, right, is when the pass rush gets to him. It's one of the few things Washington does really well. So I don't think that's good for Beckham getting down the field. I'll go Cooper Kupp, but I don't disagree with you. He has not looked great for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Edelman or Robinson. Give me Edelman. Very needed.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, Robinson's in a good spot also, but so is Edelman, and I like Edelman more. So give me Edelman.
All right, Leonard Fournette versus Kareem Hunt. Hunt, we know what his role is. Fournette, we're assuming he looked a lot better last week and it's his job, although I don't think anybody's surprised if it's not. I'm going to go Fournette, but with
I'm
very little
surprised.
confidence.
I'm definitely going to go Hunt.
Okay.
I mean, listen, it's Fournette scored that one late TD last week when they were running out the clock, 50-yarder to the house. Ronald Jones fumbled. Like you said, what if Fournette fumbles? I mean, I don't think Ronald Jones is going to be a non-factor now. I like Kareem Hunt, like you talked about with that Washington D-line. Baker Mayfield going to have to get the ball out quickly. Like, this is one of my favorite ones, actually.
Okay. That's a good point. I'm banking on Fournette getting 15 to 20 touches in this game, and I could easily be wrong.
If you're banking on that, I can see why you'd like him more.
I don't know that. I'm banking on it, but I could easily be wrong here. It's not one I pick with great confidence. I could absolutely see Kareem Hunt, and I like the point that getting the ball out early. I think that speaks wonders for Kareem Hunt and Jarvis Landry.
That's all it is.
All right, Keenan Allen versus DJ Moore. I like the spot for Allen better, but I'm going to go with Moore because I think they're absolutely going to need to throw it.
I like both of them. I'm going to go Moore also, but I like both of them again.
All right, AJ Green versus Will Fuller. Give me AJ Green.
Same.
Joe Mixon against Tyler Boyd. Ooh, that's an interesting question. Tyler Boyd, I think they're going to have to throw it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about like AJ Green on our members only video. I think you could use Tyler Boyd instead. I think they're similar in terms of their upside here.
All right, Kenyon Drake versus Melvin Gordon. Give me Kenyon Drake.
I'll take Drake also.
All right, Terry McLaurin Marvin Jones.
Give
It's
me
hard
Marvin.
to answer this without knowing if Galladay's back.
I'm going to assume that he's out, so give me Marvin.
Okay. I'll take McLaurin. I don't like the spot for him either, but if Galladay's out, then Marvin Jones is going to get Patrick Peterson, so it's not a good spot for him either. I'll take McLaurin, but there's very few I'm confident on so far.
I like the Detroit offense here more than you do also.
Fair enough. All right. Higbee against Darren Waller. 3 touchdowns versus absolute Monday night dominance. I'm going to trust in Belichick to slow down Darren Waller, so I'm going to take Higbee by an eyelash.
Same.
All right. And then T.Y. versus Jarvis Landry. For all the reasons we just talked about Hunt, I will go with Landry right here.
It's hard to pick against Hilton, though.
Well, I don't know how much Indy needs to throw because of how bad the Jets are, but you're right. I don't like picking against Hilton. You know that.
That's fair. I'll go Jarvis too, but I don't love it.
No, plus then you get to root for your boy, right? Like you're a Cleveland guy. It's always more fun if you're close, at least being able to root for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's $22 progressive. Let's roll over to today, the 22nd, Tuesday, and just kind of look at the matchup shot to see if there's anything we have any interest in today. Let's start with the baseball. And I don't know if anything's sticking out for you today. Do you know who's pitching for Washington?
Is it Navath?
Oh, yeah. I struggle to pick hitters on here. I don't know about you. I definitely prefer looking at pitchers when we do the matchup shot stuff because hitting it can be so random.
Hitting is so random. I'm with you.
So I don't put much. Like I've had a lot of success early on this, and I've put very, very little money into hitters. So if I'm going to bet on something, it's more than likely going to be a pitcher. So let's get down to a couple of those. And like Garrett Cole, minus 13.5 against Tanner Roark. I mean, I like Cole, but I don't want to give somebody 13.5 points.
Just like, in regular sports betting, it'll be a rare day where I pick a heavy favorite on here. I just don't lay points like that in anything.
It's a lot. Now, I took Braun the other day against McGee, but that was because it was criminally low. Like, Braun is legitimately like 8 times the player McGee is.
For sure.
All right, so let's take a look at some of these other ones. Quintana against Brault. Hard to know about with the pitch count, right?
Yeah, too hard to know about the pitch count.
How about Snell against Lugo? Snell minus 10.5. Given how Snell is pitched, I would pick Lugo here, but I don't think I want to pick it.
I would pick Lugo here also. Definitely interesting. Definitely have interest in Lugo here. No doubt about it. I could see doing Lugo here.
Okay. How about this one? Singer at only a minus 3.5 against Austin Gomber, who is not even close to a full pitch count.
I love this one to start the day. Now I'm a little more scared about it after we talked about Singer. Not going to lie.
Okay. But Singer's, this is one that, again, I don't bet for as much on baseball in here because I'm just not as confident in it as I am the other sports. But Singer is a guy that, just based on pitch count alone, coming off of 2 awesome starts, I don't love the spot against St. Louis, but this is what I'm considering.
I get that. I mean, I was considering it too to start the day. So I was also considering Jordan Lyles minus 3.5. Caleb Smith, just an opener. Lyles has been better recently. I never want to pick Jordan Lyles, but I was looking at it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one as well. I still think the one that we talked about earlier is where I'm leaning, though. You're telling me, Zach Davies is better than Griffin Canning, but he ain't that much better than Griffin Canning. So you're telling me I'm spotted 15.5 points?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at projections after we talked about that. Some sites I see them projected 3-4 points apart. That's it. The biggest one I saw was 9 or 10. So any way you look at it, that's a good play. I'm with you.
So just because I want to have a little, you're going to throw it on with me?
Yep.
Yeah, I was so heavy on Kamara last night, and that worked out swimmingly. So I don't feel quite as good about this one because I could see Canning going negative, but I'm going to throw down a few bucks on this one. I
also respect Canning too.
Yeah, he's not bad.
No, he's good. He's got a good arm. He's one of these young pitchers I like.
And San Diego has, they haven't been lighting the world on fire lately.
All right. Also, okay, what other ones did we talk about that we liked? Because I could see doing a little parlay here.
Yeah, I might do. We talked about Lugo.
Yeah, I like Lugo.
All right, so a Lugo, Singer, Canning. I'm going to select the multi right here. For not much, though.
What, you're getting 6 times your money there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to do... I'm going to do a straight wager on Canning and a straight on Lugo, and then I'm going to parlay them both.
Okay. And we're going to run through basketball really quickly as well. See if there's anything in here. Like James is a 12-point favorite on Murray. Nah, I think the Nuggets play hard tonight. I don't want to bet on Murray, but I don't really want to put anything onto this one.
Same. Basketball ones are going to be tough. I like the pitcher ones more.
Okay. And there's been some of these basketball ones I felt like were straight stealing. But like even this AD one, he's spotting Rondo 28 points. That seems fair.
Yes.
So I told you last time out, LeBron was spotting McGee 21 and a half or whatever it was. And I felt like that was an easy bet. And I featured that one on the video. I'm like, that seems criminally low. But this one seems like on par. I think gun to head, I would take Rondo, but I don't want to bet on this one.
I agree all the way around.
And like, I like Jokic.
I mean,
spotting Porter 23 and a half points, but I don't want to make that play.
You said it was LeBron minus 21 against McGee.
JaVale McGee, who barely plays.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm thinking about Harris 7.5 on McGee here.
Think about betting on Harris?
Yes. I wouldn't take McGee, I'll tell you that.
I'm thinking about betting on McGee, but I don't want to make that play. Because I know as bad as Gary Harris has been through 2 games, like, I don't even think he's gotten 7.5 points in either game yet this series, but that could change so quickly.
McGee's not playing more than the beginning of the first and the third.
Yeah. He puts up points when he's out there sometimes, but
yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take Gary Harris as a minus 7.5 point favorite against anyone, but I'm not going to bet McGee here.
Yeah, I gotcha. Again, I was almost going to skip this video today, but we happen to be doing the NFL stuff because I looked through baseball and basketball this morning and still looking through it again. There's nothing I feel super confident on. And I think that's a key. Like last night, I put like 5 times more down on Kamara than I have on anything else on the matchup shot because I felt really, really good about it. It seemed like a misprint almost to me, and it kept getting bet down for inexplicable reasons. I don't have that today. So why force your money in there?
There's one other one I kind of like pitching-wise that we glanced over if you want to go back to that when you're done with NBA.
All right. Well, let's just hit that up real quickly, and then we can what was it?
I know he's pitched well recently, but give me Quantrill over Ronaldo Lopez getting almost 10.
Okay. I can get on board with that.
I mean, Lopez could go in the negative any day. Cleveland's playing decent right now. Jose Ramirez, I was just reading about it, making a strong push for the MVP. Neither of them are in good spots, but they're similar pitchers.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's kind of the same. It's similar to the Canning Davies thing, only maybe at a little bit lower of a level.
For sure. I mean, honestly, at the beginning of the year or last year, Canning would have been a favorite over Davies. Close to it, at least, if nothing else.
Double check. Go back to these first 2 games. I want to see how much Torrey Craig has been playing because this might be one of them. Why can't I find Denver? Here we go. So game 2 was competitive, and I think we are calling for a competitive game right here. Torrey Craig played 23 minutes. No, it's probably not enough for me.
I just want to reiterate this on the Canning point because you're the one that got me on this. The reason I love that play is you're right. Canning could go negative because he's playing San Diego and they're very good. But if Canning just has like a good start here where he gets like 20 fantasy points, Davies is like never beating that ever.
No. I mean, I feel pretty good if Canning gets me 13 points, which is
That's what I'm saying.
Far cry, right?
And if he gets 20, 15 plus, it's like very hard for Davies to beat him.
All right. So I'm just going to reiterate and stop it up for basketball tonight. There is nothing on this basketball slate that I say with much confidence. Like, Markieff Morris, if you look at like in the Lakers' close competitive game, he played 9 minutes. I guess if I was to bet anything, give me Dwight Howard over Markieff Morris. Just more needed in this series. Neither of them is playing much, but Morris is hardly seeing the court.
This goes back to what you talked about at the beginning of the video about the $22 contest and how you have to pick ones that you don't like. The great thing about the matchup shop is you don't have to do that. Like instead of doing that, and this is big for sports betting, like instead of messing around and putting like a little bit on 5 that I kind of like, I'll pick 1 or 2 that I really like and put it all on those.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. I know, like for baseball, MLB GPPs, like we talk about it every day, but you only play big if you feel like there's an edge that you have. Hold your money back for the times that you really like it. Just because you're an addict, which most of us are, let's face it, it's hard not to put something into it. Like play for really small. You don't have to put your money in when you don't think you have the best of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I used to play poker, like hardcore way back in the day. And like I'd watch people get excited. They're like, oh, I put big money in it. That was 50-50. I'm like, you don't want to bet on a 50-50. It's a coin flip. Put your money in when you know you got the best of it. And if you don't know you have the best of it, don't put your money down.
Amen. Love that point.
All right, just running through, and we'll get back to this one tomorrow. But early on for the Miami-Boston matchup for tomorrow, I like Tatum minus 8.5 over Brown. Don't want to make that play. I like Bam minus 9.5 over here. Still don't want to make that play. Butler over Hayward.
Hayward looked pretty good.
Yeah, he did. I thought he looked real good in his time back there already. I'll have to study up on the stuff for tomorrow a little bit closer before we want to come on here and really discuss it.
And I'm excited to do the NFL one with you later in the week.
Yeah, we'll do some plays of the week for sure on NFL later in the week. All right. I'm going to take Dwight Howard over Markieff Morris as my play of the day for NBA. But I want to make sure we reiterate, this is a low confidence play. This is nothing like Kamara over Jacobs last night. This is a low confidence one.
Mm-hmm.
Just to have a little something to watch.
Yes, sir.
So that's it, guys. Appreciate y'all watching. We will be talking more football throughout the week, and we'll see you tomorrow for some more baseball and basketball.
Thanks, guys.